what everyone is talking about. When should we worry about Cade Cunningham, Jeff?
Well, I hate the whole worry about Cade Cunningham, especially only 2 games into his young career. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. All right, you're looking at Cade Cunningham over the course of 82 games of his rookie year. Taking 2-game sample size, the kid's missed training camp. The only really action he's gotten is Summer League, and we saw how he played in Summer League. He played actually absolutely amazing. He hit a bunch of big shots. Now looking at the regular season, he suffered that ankle injury, held him out of preseason, held him out of a lot of the training camp. He was really doing individual workouts, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to come in and light the league up game one. I mean, guys like Jalen Green were able to get those extra reps. All these guys, the top 5, all these picks, Jalen Suggs as well. Like all these guys have gotten the entirety of the training camp in preseason. Cade Cunningham has kind of a lot to catch up. It's sort of like, hiring me to do a job for you, and I'm sick the first week or 2 weeks of work, and I come back and you're expecting me to catch up on everything I've missed. It's going to take some time. It's going to take a little bit to get his legs under him. You can't expect him to be a world beater game 3 of his career. But I will say this, the shooting doesn't really worry me. Because guys, they go through shooting slumps, especially young guys in their career. You see how a lot of the rookies, especially, I understand he was a first overall pick, but even in years past, everyone starts off rough in the league. What is he shooting? He hasn't hit in a 3 yet, which concerns me, obviously. I think that's not going to, last very long. But in terms of, he only has 2 turnovers a game. He's limiting his turnovers, and he somehow finds a way to have a positive plus minus in the games he plays. He's still making an impact no matter if he's shooting the ball poorly. And that's kind of what you want to look at. I'm not going to really look at Cade and worry. The guy just played 29 minutes for the first time last game. He played 19 his first game. He should be playing 30 minutes a night, which he will get to that point. But I'm going to have to wait and see probably a good 45 to 75 game sample size before I'm really judging Cade and his performances, because 2 games in, I'm not really. He's shooting 13% from field goal range. That's not going to stay. 13%. That's just not going to stay. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not really worried about Cade. It's just mainly this team overall. You didn't really know the flaws until they really got on the floor. Thus far, 1-6. They're 7 games into the season. You can see this team's missing size. They have Isaiah Stewart at the 5 every game, and you go up against teams like tonight, like Philly. They're out of Tobias Harris, no Ben Simmons, of course. So it's going to be a 76ers team that's missing some of their top guys. It does not matter. Joel Embiid, he's going to body Isaiah Stewart. This is what we've seen in the first game they played. They're going to have problems with 7-footers, and especially guys that can run anywhere from 14 rebounds a game. Isaiah Stewart just can't keep up with that pace. And you know what? I see Isaiah Stewart's future really at the 4, and they're going to end up probably taking a big either this year or signing a big, because that's kind of the last missing piece of this team I'm really worried about, because every game they're getting beat on the boards, and they're not hitting their free throws. And that's really the keys that this team needs to kind of get fixed or get worked out, because thus far, every game they're getting outplayed on the boards, and you're going against a 7-foot guy in Joel Embiid, a Defensive Player of the Year candidate every year. It's going to pay dividends.
It's funny. It's so funny when they go up against a small team, they look really good, and then when they go up against a team that has like an average big man, it doesn't even need to be a dominant one like a Joel Embiid or a Rudy Gobert. They struggle. Big men are still useful in the NBA.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say. When you're 7 feet, you make it very difficult for guards and forwards to rebound. It's probably your whole presence just changes the whole floor, honestly. But regarding Cade, I agree, man. It's too early. Give him time. Let him get his legs under him. But my only concern or the advice I would give Cade is don't settle.
Yeah.
Don't settle this early on. Don't get into the bad habit of, you know what, it's not my night. I'm just going to keep jacking up threes. That is key. Russell Westbrook and every rookie post Steph Curry's MVP year that's coming to the league, and they just jack up threes because that's where they think the NBA is, which it kind of is technically, but that doesn't mean you can be shooting that many threes. Cade, you have no business shooting 7 threes a game. You can shoot 3 or 4, and on a good night, 6, 7, or 8.
Yeah.
But no, that's not your game. Go back to your game. Go to the mid-range. Mm-hmm. Drive into the hole, and I'm sure the ankle is affecting him. But don't settle. And if you're not ready to commit and play your game, please don't play. Don't aggravate the ankle. Don't do anything. But don't just go out on the court and settle for 3-pointers. it's not going to go well for you, at least in my opinion.
No, you're absolutely right, and that obviously has to do a lot with the ankle. But to your credit, if it is bothering him enough, hold him out. I mean, this is again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The Pistons aren't going to be good this year. I still have them over 25 wins. Doesn't mean they're going to be good. So for your number one overall pick, I think a lot of the fans just see guys like Jalen Green, Evan Mobley. Everyone's they're playing. They played their training camp. They played the preseason. They play in the regular season. They're playing well, but that does not matter. What matters is in Detroit and what we have in Cade Cunningham, which I still believe he's the right pick. He's the right number one overall pick. I don't believe the whole, you should have taken Jalen Green. It's way too early for any of that. I mean, Cade Cunningham might not win Rookie of the Year because of the ankle injury. He's kind of keeping him out. He's going to take some games to get his legs under him. But again, it's the long run. What does Cade look like in 3 years? You know what I mean? That's kind of what Pistons fans need to be focused on. Not worry about, an ankle injury lingering on Cade. It's obviously going to affect his game. I mean, that's a given, especially a guy who's trying to get caught up. I mean, the team they've played more games without Cade than they have with. I mean, they have chemistry already without him, so they're trying to kind of get him on the floor and get him acclimated. So I'm not worried about it. They'll definitely get a top 5, top 10 pick this year. You use it on another, hopefully a franchise player, someone you can start, hopefully a center. Or, take a shooting guard. Take someone else. I don't know. Figure it out. But until then, I'm not worried about Cade. Like I said, give him the entirety of the season. Kind of evaluate him. I still think he can get you anywhere from 15 points a game this year. 15, 5 and 5 is still likely for Cade. And it'll take, 82 games to show what he can show. So I'm not worried about it. Just the Pistons fans that say, we should have taken Jalen Green. Those guys are worried about it because they're watching
It's way
Jalen
too
Green.
early.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing this, especially in the NBA when unless you're an anomaly like a LeBron James, a Melo, where you just walk into the league and you're a bucket.
Right.
It doesn't happen often. KD walking into the league, straight bucket. It doesn't happen often, guys. Mm-hmm. So usually it takes 3, 4, 5 years before they start entering that all-star to star, even superstar category. And typically, to become a superstar, it takes you probably till year 6 or 7. That's just the history of the NBA. Go by history, not just what you want to fascinate in your head. That's not how it works. He needs about 2 years to become an all-star. And if he does it sooner than that, I'd be really impressed. And by year 3 or 4, it's like, are you a star player or not?
Right.
Or are you just a guy that can put up numbers? That's just the game. That's how you figure out every player.
Jalen Green included.
And Jalen Green, he'll probably be a bucket in the NBA in a few years, but who's better? You're going to know in 5, 6, 7 years. You're not going to know right away, unless one of them just completely falls out of the league, which I don't expect.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. I think that'll be the battle for years to come. We'll see some Houston Rockets versus Pistons games. That'll be a good rivalry, but I ain't worried.